interviewing the people? Are they asking them to voluntarily come in and be screened? I'd want to be if I was on a plane with somebody with Ebola. No, none of it's being done. But don't you worry. We'll have the government shaking their finger at us all day long about how they have the NSA and the cameras and the checkpoints and Homeland Security having your kids, you know, quote, report on mommy and daddy and all this garbage in the name of safety when it has nothing to do with it. So I'm going to walk through all the breaking news on this front when we come back, give out the number and take your calls. But I want to make this statement very, very clear. They either souped up this Ebola and weaponized it, which we know has been done before. That's even been on Nova, on PBS, and allowed it to be released. Or it's naturally mutated to incubate longer and to be more powerful, and they're openly opening the door to let it happen. Either way, the people running our federal government are complicit in what's already happened and what is unfortunately going to unfold now. How does MSNBC respond? How the NRA is making the Ebola crisis worse. They're actually blaming gun owners. That's like blaming the moon made of cheese.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.
DNA Force.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in.
DNA Force.
No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies.
DNA Force.
We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
DNA Force.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of super oxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun and you can feel it.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Thomas Jefferson. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Well, a travel ban to countries facing an Ebola outbreak could paradoxically make the problem worse. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Tom Frieden said in a press conference yesterday, this is the same government that tells us there's no side effects from any vaccine and they're safe and effective, even though every insert of every vaccine says it can kill you or give you neurological disorders, permanent narcolepsy, Guillain-Barré. The list goes on and on. Permanent, epilepsy, autoimmune. This is the same group that says aspartame is good for you. Well, in every study, it makes you go blind, basically be brain damaged. It's the same government that told you you didn't build your business and 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. And that Obamacare didn't have death panels, even though they admit it does now. And, of course, Obama said very unlikely Ebola would ever even get here. And now my gut tells me it's spreading. But last year, last winter, last December into January, there were deaths all over the country. Just hundreds of local news articles about mystery illnesses filling hospitals, the people dying of upper respiratory illnesses and respiratory illnesses of the lungs. And I lost 3 family members in East Texas alone to it, and no one would say what it even was. And now you've got this enterovirus where a kid gets pink eye and is dead a day later. And that's directly connected in mainline science. We had PhD doctors on last week, medical doctors on last week, virologists, you name it, clearly showing that the enterovirus is linked to vaccinated children and is causing viral mutations in the intestines of children. It's unbelievable. But it doesn't matter. They're putting heat sensors in Dallas schools. This is an Infowars.com story by Mikhail Thalen. It's also on PrisonPlanet.com and on the right-hand side of DrudgeReport.com. Dallas schools to install remote temperature monitors to detect Ebola. 5 schools will be monitored until further notice. So they're getting kids used to being basically face scanned remotely with the Department of Defense funded operation. But no one goes and gets the guy's family out for a week they finally have at the apartment where everybody's just running around vomiting everywhere. They just have people not even hazmat gear cleaning up the vomit. That's where the Ebola can live, ladies and gentlemen, is in fecal matter or vomit for days inside structures. And WFAA TV reports it. Nobody cares. Oh, but Homeland Security, they care so much. They're fighting so hard to keep you safe. Do you know why the head of the CDC came out and said we can't shut the border? It's because under the North American Union Treaty signed by George Herbert Walker Bush's son, George W. Bush, in Baylor, Texas in 2005 with Vicente Fox and Paul Martin of Canada, there is no border. They've been issuing a hemisphere ID card since 2006. It's already gone. If you look at the head of the National Security Council and senators and others, they're always giving speeches saying, we're in a North American Union now. And guess what? Congress doesn't make the laws in that. You don't make the laws. Your states don't. A bunch of offshore mega banks do. And they'll run the response to Ebola once it breaks out and make hundreds of billions of dollars. And they'll know when the plague's going to run its course. Or maybe this is just a beta test. And so they'll know how to invest to profit from it. They have all the actuaries, all the computer programs, all of the data. That's why they love crises, why they create them, why they foster them, why they allow them to happen, why they don't let a good crisis go to waste, because they get power out of it, because common sense is dead. We're going to let the kids who are in there with dad vomiting everywhere go to school. We're going to leave them in the apartment for a week. We're not going to clean up the ambulance. We're not going to check the flight manifests and go check everybody that was on those planes. We're not going to shut down the planes coming into the U.S., even though everybody else is doing it, including African countries. No. We're going to leave everything wide open. And if you dare criticize it, Geraldo Rivera will come out and say he's ashamed of Matt Drudge for reporting on Ebola being able to come across the border. Now the CDC admits it could, but says there's nothing they could do anyways. So see, in this new world, you're in trouble when you're right, not when you're wrong. You say 2 + 2 = 5, they say jolly good, step up, you're part of the cult. This is a cult mentality in government and media now, where they've got everyone chanting 2 + 2 = 5, literally. With a rudderless, empty-minded public, grown up watching television their entire lives, having no idea what the real world's really like, a nation of spectators run by a group of kleptocrats robbing and stealing everything. But here's the news. The whole legal system, the whole political system, the writings on the wall, this is the Department of Defense, British Ministry of Defense reports, it's all going to collapse on purpose. So let me tell you something. All of you that have served this process of the takeover, all of you that have served this leg of the consolidation, you're all going to be flushed down the toilet in the next phase of the New World Order, global government, transhumanist, eugenicist, singularity, power trip movement that governs the planet. While you watch NFL football and while you ride your Harley Davidson, I'm not blaming you men for wanting to do that, I'm sure it's fun, while you smoke your cigarettes, while you go to the bar, while you watch your favorite TV show, while you apply makeup to your face, we live in an engineered society where the food, the water, everything's manipulated on record, the GMO, and now our government is openly letting people with Ebola in, leaving the flights in, bringing the patients in, so they have plausible deniability when they release a string of garbage, which our government's been caught doing secret testing, lethal testing thousands of times before. Why wouldn't you think they do it now? It's not our government. It is a scientific group of eugenicists who all publish books bragging about what they've done. So you have to understand, that's what's frustrating here. I'm going off what they say they would do and what they've done. And here's what's scary. They're about 5-10 years, depending on which project, behind what they said they'd do in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. But they've done everything they said they'd do. They have rolled out everything they said they would. They have done everything according to plan. Okay, let's go to the CDC director saying we can't control the border. Yeah, because there is no border.
We know that as long as the outbreak smolders in Africa, as long as it's in Africa, we're potentially at risk, because even if we tried to close the border, it wouldn't work. People have a right to return. People transiting through could come in, and it would backfire, because by isolating these countries, it'll make it harder to help them, it'll spread more there, and we'd be more likely to be exposed here.
But he had a nice, calm NPR voice. Very convincing, loving little eyes, with his hair all combed. Kids, by the way, take your shots. We here at the New World Order love you, and all we want is for you to get healthy. That's why the cancer rates and everything else are off the charts. So just take your shots. Get rid of those brain cells. Mercury's good for you. The CDC said so, remember? They said mercury's good. It's all true. They love you.
What are you waiting for?
You've heard what the proprietary Super Male Vitality formulation has done for others. Now it's time to experience the natural benefits
for yourself.
Pairing ancient herbal extraction techniques with revolutionary technological advances, Super Male Vitality offers
the most powerful essence
of 8 different ingredients, all individually blended into what makes this product such a unique and concentrated solution.
Avoid alarming artificial additives
and even even hidden genetically modified ingredients that may be lurking in your medicine cabinet. Super Male Vitality is 100% vegan, gluten-free, made in the USA, and available today at InfoWarsLife.com while supplies last. Experience the benefits for yourself and for your family with Super Male